So the impossible has kind of happened. Russell Westbrook was just traded for John Wall in a first-round pick. I'm supposed to be getting up early, but then I woke up and saw this on my timeline, and what? I mean, I know we saw rumors of it, but which GM decided this was a good idea? Was this the Rockets' idea? Because this is just a last-ditch move made completely out of desperation. I'm not even really sure what to say about it initially. We can talk about what it means for both teams. For the Rockets, obviously it's a last-ditch move, and if this doesn't work, James Harden's probably gone by the trade deadline this year. That's the soonest he can be gone. No later than this next offseason. That's what this means for the Rockets. Now, this pick, if the Wizards somehow manage to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, we'll talk about that a bit later. I think it's lottery protected in 2023, top 12 in 2024, top 10 in 2025, and then top 8 protected in 2026. And if it doesn't convey any of those years, which there is a high possibility that it doesn't, it turns into 2 seconds for the Rockets. So a pick that could be valuable if they do manage to just be mediocre, and that could be a really big pick for the Rockets if they get like the 15th, or maybe in a few years it's the 12th pick or the 13th pick. Considering the Rockets don't have any picks, that's good for them. That's very good for them. So I do like that part. As far as the John Wall fit, it's a huge question mark. How athletic is John Wall going to be? How good a shooter is he going to be? I mean, all he has to do is beat Russell Westbrook's like 26% from 3. If John Wall shoots like 35% from 3, if he really has been working on his jump shot like he said he has been, then I actually kind of like this fit. You got to remember, this is not the D'Antoni Rockets anymore. This is the Steven Silas Rockets. I think they're not going to just do threes and layups anymore. And now you have a guy who is a mid-range killer. John Wall has a fantastic mid-range game. And he may not be as athletic. I doubt he will be as athletic as he was before. But still, you have a big like Christian Wood that you can run pick and pops with. And with John Wall, just the threat of him off the bounce, he's still going to be a good finisher, I think, even if his athleticism takes a dip. But he's also got that mid-range game. And if he can shoot, like I said, if he shoots 35% from 3, I mean, that's fantastic. That's a lot better than Russell Westbrook. And he probably won't be great defensively, but he'll probably be solid, I imagine. Athleticism plays a part in defense, but I think he'll be solid. I think he'll be okay. I don't think he'll be bad. So, and he'll be less erratic than Russell Westbrook, so that can probably be a better thing. And he might not sleep off ball so much. So, there's the possibility for pick and pops, all that kind of stuff. So, their starting lineup is now John Wall, James Harden, Daniel House Jr., Christian Wood, and DeMarcus Cousins. I doubt. Are they really playing Christian Wood at center? I've heard that's what some people are saying, but I don't really know if that's a good. I mean, you have the potential to have a disaster defensively with DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood as your starting front court. So we'll see. But that's a pretty solid starting lineup. And I saw Dom 2K tweeted it's the 2015 NBA champions. But I think it's pretty solid. Potential to have shooters everywhere. It depends on DeMarcus Cousins. It depends on John Wall. They're kind of banking off of guys coming well off of injuries. So that's a dangerous thing. But like I said, it's a last-ditch effort for the Rockets. And if it doesn't work, I doubt James Harden will be here by the trade deadline or next offseason. So, John Wall also provides another playmaker if you want to, talk about that. I mean, Russell Westbrook, that's kind of all I had to say about it for the Rockets. We just have to see, man. John Wall's injury, he has to come back well from it for the Rockets to benefit off of this. But another way they can benefit off of it is the pick. So, but what does this mean for the Wizards? Does this mean that they are in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference? I don't think it's a guarantee. Russell Westbrook is immediately a very good player in the Eastern Conference. Say what you want about him, but I don't know if this guarantees a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Like I said, even before, I wasn't sure about it, and now I'm not sure how much better they would be with John Wall, or how much better off they are now. But they still have to compete with the Hawks, the Magic, name another team, the Hornets. They still have to compete with those guys for a playoff spot. And the spacing has potential to be extremely rough in Washington. You got Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Denny Avdia. Maybe they start Troy Brown Jr. I would probably do that considering spacing. But then they have Davis Bertans, and they have Thomas Bryant, who is kind of a stretch big. Kinda, I guess. But if you start Denny, Russell Westbrook and Denny Avdia are non-shooters. Maybe Avdia has a jump shot. Maybe he doesn't. I'm going to lean towards he doesn't, considering what we've seen from him before. But that's really rough, spacing-wise. And it's also somebody who's going to take shots away from Bradley Beal. Because, yes, John Wall was surprised that this was Bradley Beal's team. But Russell Westbrook is just an erratic player who is going to take his shots. He's going to take his dumb pull-up threes, pull-up mid-rangers, and he's going to barrel to the rim into three guys, pass it out of bounds wildly. He's going to have a play or two like that every single game. And defensively, he's a sleeper sometimes. He sleeps off ball, and he's a little erratic, so sometimes that can lead to him gambling and things like that. So it's kind of a question mark. It's a big question mark. I don't think this makes them a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. I really think Trae Young is that good for the Hawks. And with the talent that they have on that team and the depth they have on that team. Because this Wizards team's bench, if you're starting Denny, is Troy Brown Jr., Ish Smith. Who else do they have on the roster? I can't even remember. I'm sure they have somebody on there, but that's like 7 players deep. And then you got teams like the Hawks, who Trae Young is arguably the best player out of all of the playoff contenders. I think it's close between him and Bradley Beal, but I think he is ultimately better than Bradley Beal for playmaking reasons. And I think he's a better shooter too, and a better ball handler, all that kind of stuff. So I just think that is going to be more valuable than what the Wizards have, especially if they get progression from their young guys and stuff like that. So, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. The Wizards could definitely make the playoffs. But the Russell Westbrook fit is kind of iffy, and it's definitely going to take shots away from Bradley Beal, and it definitely could be a disaster. And then you're stuck with Russell Westbrook, but your pick may not convey, so you may not lose a first for it, but you're stuck with Russell Westbrook for a couple of years making $40 million. And where do they flip him to if this doesn't work? Does Detroit want him? Will the Cavs maybe trade for him like they were rumored to? I don't know. It's kind of all I have, honestly. I think it's a pretty big gamble. It's a bigger gamble for the Rockets than it is for the Wizards, but the Wizards definitely have the potential to be a playoff team in the East. This definitely goes with their theme of being okay with just being mediocre. And goodness, man, I did not expect to be making this video. I'm supposed to be up at 4:30 in the morning. So if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. We've been growing a lot lately, and if we could keep that going, that would be awesome. You guys are amazing. So if you didn't like the video, leave a dislike. Y'all have a good one.